You're watching Fowler Success, Safe at Home. In this podcast series, we are interviewing SDSU alumni to get their perspectives on COVID-19, working from home, and what they think SDSU students need to know in order to navigate the workplace in the new normal. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Fowler Success. Today, I'm here with Richard Price, who's a risk assurance associate at PricewaterhouseCoopers. He graduated from the Fowler College of Business with a bachelor's in accountancy in 2018, and then again with a master's in accountancy in 2019. Welcome, Richard. Glad to have you here talking today.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Happy to be here.
All right, so let's get straight into it. So right now, I'm assuming that you're currently working from home, right, with the changes due to COVID-19. How is that transition for you and your team?
So yes, currently working from home. We started back working from home back in March, a little before the mask movement to work from home. The transition has been interesting. PWC already has a flexibility policy in place where we all worked from home essentially before COVID happened. Now it's just mandatory to work from home. And team-wise, our dynamics haven't changed too much, as particularly we're all on different clients throughout the year anyway, so we weren't always working in the same area, our same building for most part of our engagements.
It's interesting that you are at a company where you already had, a pretty well enumerated work from home policy. But has there been any, kind of difficulties that you didn't foresee, professionally as well as personally, making the full on shift from, maybe sometimes working from home to, completely doing it?
Professionally, the move to work from home has been difficult in a sense when it comes to communicating. What used to be where we could pop in someone's office and maybe just stop by their desk and ask a question has turned into sending either an email, setting up a meeting time, setting up time to call them. So the extent of the quick questions, the turnaround's not as fast anymore. Now we have to really organize our day throughout meeting with this person. We need to check in with our managers. We need to check in with clients. It has been overall smooth, but I do miss the ability just to turn around and ask someone a question in person, and a lot of that face-to-face interaction. So it's been difficult meeting new clients via video calls, and some clients we just meet via email. Say, hey, a big part of our job is asking for different documentation and evidence.
So your work in risk assurance right now at PricewaterhouseCoopers, what impact has the pandemic had on the IT demands and the regulatory concerns for your clients, which are kind of some of the biggest aspects of their operations that you work on? How have you adjusted to changes in those areas that this has created?
So I would say the biggest demand due to COVID, what has happened is in our line of service and risk assurance, a lot of our testing, we test within a client system. So having remote access to those systems, I know clients that was a hurdle we initially had to work on getting over, because before we can just go to the client site and get access on site, while now we're all working remotely. Now we had to work through different VPNs, virtual machines, as well as just doing video calls where we're shadowing the client within their system because we physically cannot access the system. I think access to client databases and systems has been the biggest impact, as no one's on site and no one is longer on site.
I mean, that's super interesting. We've had some of those concerns here at the university as well, VPNs, virtual machines, and it's just been definitely not the smoothest of processes getting to where we need to be. One of the other questions I have too is outside of the work that you guys are doing in risk assurance, have there been any, initiatives, programs, or services that, PWC has developed that you've found inspiring to, help people in this difficult time?
During this whole pandemic, we've really taken a lead in ensuring that we're giving back and investing in our community in terms of we have a digital academy platform that we made available to everyone, where it kind of goes into different topics of the digital age, since now that we're working from home.
So I guess my next question is, during your time at SDSU, what aspects of your business education did you find most beneficial to your experience in the working world? Like any classes in particular, or like concepts that, really prepared you for this role now that you're in the working world?
So my time at SDSU, I would say the biggest takeaway I've gotten was working in teams with a lot of people and working with different schedules and working on my organizational skills. I think that's been SDSU is a place where a lot of students come from many different backgrounds and many different schedules throughout the day. One person probably works, one person involved with campus activities. So really working around people's schedule and working on my organizational skills and working in teams.
Before you started at PWC, you were an intern there. Did you use any of the SDSU career services to find that internship opportunity? And, how useful was that experience in landing your current role?
During my time at SDSU, I really utilized the career services. They had open office hours where they did resume reviews. So at the time, I actually applied through my internship through the career services department, also did the resume prep and mock interviews with the department. So that was a big resource that I utilized. And then as well, in addition to going through career services for my internship, I also used our student accounting society, where there's different companies come in, they present on their company, different opportunities at their company. That's where I initially networked with individuals at PWC and also met the HR manager. So also made the interview process a lot easier, seeing that person face to face before I had an interview with them. And then once I had my interview with the career services, it was almost more of a formality, I would say, because we already had established that relationship and that connection.
When you were at SDSU, you participated in, some service learning opportunities through the VITA program when you were in the accounting program, both undergraduate and graduate. How did those experiences help prepare you for your current role in the professional world after graduation?
VITA was a great experience. I spent some time in my undergrad. I was a student in the VITA program, so I was actually preparing the tax returns. And then as well as my master's year came around, I was a GA for the VITA program, so helping with Professor Kelly supervise. I would say VITA was a great experience as it gave me experience in a client-facing role, providing customer service to a client before I was able to graduate, because here at PwC, we're in a client-facing role, even though we are considered auditors. A lot of people don't see that aspect of accounting. And also, just being in an accounting department, a lot of the services we provide is a service to the company. And VITA was a great opportunity to have that exposure to working directly with the client and working with the team to submit a final product.
In addition to, your role at PWC and risk assurance, you work on a program called Give Back, where you provide financial literacy education to grade school students. Can you tell us a little bit more about that work and the value that you see in professionals giving back to the community?
So our PWC Give Back program is part of our community service pillar, part of our CARE initiative, where we really like to take a lead in making sure we're investing in our community, giving back to our community. And one aspect of that is financial literacy that PWC likes to take. We partner with Junior Achievement which is a community. Wow. What is junior? Sorry, junior achievement is a community service. Oh, nonprofit. Sorry.
Yeah.
I gotcha.
I used to work in that space. So that I was like probably thinking that's what you were thinking of.
Yeah. So junior achievement is a nonprofit where they take grade school students, and essentially either there's a classroom setting where we teach financial literacy and kind of a teacher and student role, and then there's also a setting called BizTown where students come in and they take roles in different shops, and we volunteer and help oversee that aspect of it. And it's a really great opportunity. I personally chose financial literacy because that is, I think, something that is key but not as widely taught throughout school. And not everyone comes from an accounting background, so numbers aren't everyone's forte. So I really enjoy our financial literacy education initiative because it really aligns with my beliefs personally.
What advice do you have for students looking to navigate the job market now and in the near future?
So for students navigating the job market now, I feel it's really important to focus on developing your communication skills across different mediums. So video conferencing, emailing, picking up a phone and talking to people. I feel COVID is going to change how we work from now and in the future, whether we're working from home, we're working from home part-time, or how we work is going to change so much that we need to get used to communicating across different platforms.
How do you keep current with the trends that impact you in your role? Like, what are the things that you do to make sure that you're on top of all the new changes that impact what you do in the workforce?
That's a good question. I would say I'm lucky. I work at a firm where I'm highly invested in. So a lot of ways I keep up with new digital aspects of my job is we have dedicated days every couple months where we just spend that whole day going through our different digital assets. So we have a digital lab where we all come together and build different assets that we can utilize within our work, as well as different new technologies. We have in our digital lab, we also have videos of new up and emerging technologies, as well as personally, outside of work, I catch up a lot on Tech Insider. So Tech Insider usually have articles on new hot topics in the tech world. So that's essentially how I do it. Here at PWC, we do have a big digital initiative to stay current, and we refer to this as infinite learning. So every day we're working on approaching a task and seeing what we can do to either make that task more efficient, where they're using different digital assets we have. So we have, just to name a few, we have Alteryx, which has the capacity of Excel, but it does things automatically rather than manually. You just go in, you code Alteryx, and it'll perform anything Excel can do, but it'll perform it. It'll be under automated. And then we also have bots, UI bots, that are also similar to Alteryx, though a lot of the mundane tasks take those out of the day.
Outside of the work that you're doing, what are some of the things that PWC has done to react to COVID that you have found inspiring?
I feel PWC, the response to COVID has been great so far. Initially, we were really a first mover in making sure our people were safe, really assuring our health was the number one priority. So there isn't really a rush to head back to the office, and we've really taken a hold on working from home moving forward. And then as well, the firm has really communicated that as we work from home, that we're coming up with a set schedule. So we call it Stop the Grind. So public accounting, if you ever heard, is very, very prevalent in terms of hours worked throughout the day. And we've taken an initiative to stop the grind. So whether that be when you're joining reviewing the meetings you have throughout the day and making sure they're needed, or can they be shortened? Can they be summarized in an email? Just trying to find ways to make the work from home life easier and making sure we're being efficient with our time. Because since I've started personally working from home, I would say the line is blurred between when work starts, when work ends, and when you're pretty much off work. That line has been blurred, I would say, once we've started work from home. So PWC has really taken a strong approach in making sure that we're talking with our teams, talking with our managers, and making sure we're focusing on both our physical and mental health during these times. And I really admire that about the firm. I feel they've taken a very big people approach, as in making sure our people are accounted for and we're getting what we need as we are working from home.
During your time at SDSU, what aspects of your business education were the most beneficial for your experience in the working world?
My time at SDSU, I feel like it really helped me build a foundation for working in team settings. That would be my biggest takeaway. I really enjoyed working with people from different diverse backgrounds, people who have different commitments outside of school. I think that really helps with developing your organizational skills as well. Working with individuals who their schedules don't perfectly align with you. So really working in a team setting and then working on my project management skills at the same time. SDSU does a good job of giving you opportunities where you are required to somewhat flex this ability to work in teams, and which would say that's my biggest takeaway from my overall experience at SDSU is working in teams, working with people from different backgrounds, people with different commitments outside of school, and then working together to come up with a finished product. It seems to have mirrored a lot of how the workforce is moving for me personally. We work at PWC, we work in team settings frequently, and a lot of times the individuals on that team have commitments outside of that particular project. So SDSU really prepared me with how to navigate that situation.
What advice do you have for students looking to navigate the job market now?
So I would say some advice I have for students navigating the job market today is get used to and get to develop your communication skills across different platforms. So video conferencing, emails, talking on the phone. As with COVID, I just feel, and a lot of my coworkers agree, that the way we work is going to change. So before, when we had a lot of opportunities to go out, meet students in person, whether that be at a student organization, at career services, those in-person networking opportunities aren't available at this time. So getting used to replacing those opportunities with the opportunities that we have now, staying persistent, staying patient, being open to pivoting to these new opportunities, and really embracing how business is going to change and how COVID has impacted how we operate.
As a risk assurance professional, there have been tech and regulatory changes that are, having a huge impact on your role right now. What do you do to keep up with, all the emerging trends?
Yeah. So for the emerging trends in technology, I'm lucky. I work at a company where we're really taking an initiative. We call it our digital initiative to make sure we stay current, stay relevant in the digital space. We dedicate a lot of time and a lot of resources to ensuring that we have the tools to stay up to date on these different topics. Personally, I utilize our firm's digital lab, where it's just a collaborative space where we upload all of our digital assets, how our digital efficiencies, different bots we run through Alteryx and UiPath, which are just softwares that generally they have the capacity of Excel, but they do so, you can code it to where it does these tasks automatically. And then as well, every couple months, we have dedicated days and hours to our learning. We call this our Infinite Learning Initiative, where we're focusing on our digital acumen throughout the year.
What advice would you give to accounting students that are looking to enter the job market? So what sorts of technical skills and soft skills are important for people in accounting going on to the job market?
I would say, I'm going to touch on soft skills. So for soft skills wise, I would say communication skills is very key. As well, on top of that, also critical thinking. So in accounting, you come across a lot of complex situations where you have to ask that question, or you have to ask a client, you have to follow up with your manager, and really being able to critically think even around questions you don't have the answer to. So coming forward with a answer and being able to formulate and communicate your thought process and where you think your thought process broke, and kind of also being a part of the process of finding a solution. So whether if you have a question, you come forward, you ask and say, hey, I was wondering, how do I do this? I thought about it this way, and I'm not sure on this aspect of it. Really focusing on your critical thinking skills, I think, is a big thing to bring into the accounting profession. And then also, I would say from a technical skills standpoint, understanding the foundation of accounting. I think SDSU does a really good job of helping students develop that foundation, but also being open to learn while you're here. And as the technical aspects in a good company will really make sure at an entry-level position that you are prepared, and they give you the resources to learn the technical side of the job. So I would say communication and critical thinking are the top skills I can think of. And also, this is across all professions, I would say, is organizational skills. There's many times where you'll be working on a project or an assignment, and a couple months later, someone's going to say, hey, do you still have this? Can you send this over? And being able to have the organizational skills to go back and say, oh, yes, I have that, or being able to follow up and knowing where things are, and really project management, keeping up with how the project's doing, what your estimated completion time is.
All right. I want to thank Richard Price for joining us today for another episode of Fowler Success Safe at Home. Thank you for watching this episode of Fowler Success Safe at Home. Subscribe for more stories from alumni about navigating the workplace in the new normal.